So I have an update for everybody on the Emoluments case against Donald Trump. This is really interesting. A court found the Emoluments clause applies to Trump and his hotel profits. A landmark case arguing that Trump has violated the Constitution by accepting foreign government money is going forward. They say President Donald Trump is subject to the Constitution's Emoluments clause, and any profit, gain, or advantage that his hotel in Washington, D.C. obtains from a foreign or domestic government would implicate the clause, according to a ruling by a federal court on Wednesday. This decision by Judge Peter Messitte for the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland allows a lawsuit brought by the Attorneys General of Maryland and Washington, D.C., to proceed against Trump, whose effort to dismiss the challenge was denied. The lawsuit claims that he is in violation of the Constitution's Emoluments Clause, which bars federal office holders from receiving financial or material benefits from foreign governments or domestic government bodies. So this is really, really big news. Now, the counter-argument, the defense from the Trump team was hilarious. They said, no, it's not a violation of the Emoluments Clause unless they hand money directly to him, to the in his hands, like they give him the money. So like Saudi officials or foreign government officials, whatever government you'd like, they take money, put it in his hand, and there's a direct quid pro quo. Here, Mr. President, I am going to give you money, and I would like you to pass this policy for me. I appreciate it. So, presumably all this would have to be fucking recorded too, which is like, what are the chances of that happening? Unless Michael Cohen's in the room, I guess it's unlikely it would be recorded. So think about how high the bar is now for emoluments, if that was the standard that we picked. So, theoretically, you can have a president who accepts direct cash from foreign governments in his hand, but they don't directly tell them in that encounter exactly what they want with that money. Well, that's not a violation of emoluments because they just gave me $100,000. They didn't tell me exactly what they wanted. So when I did favors for them later, you don't know it was the favors they wanted because they didn't say it when we exchanged money. Again, another thing is you'd be able to have, if you're a president, you could have businesses everywhere, and then foreign governments can give you a tremendous amount of money at those businesses, and then you could do favors for them, but that doesn't count either because they didn't hand the money directly to you. They put it through your businesses first. And sure, you did favors for them, but those favors weren't explicitly caught on tape where they tell you exactly what they want and then you return the favor. So they set up this standard that is impossible to reach. They don't allow logic or reason to get involved here and for you to make deductions and inferences and go, oh, well, obviously, Trump took $300,000 from Saudi officials at his hotel. Then he gave them over a $100 billion weapons deal. It was $350 billion over a 10-year period. Hey, maybe those things are linked. Maybe they're giving him money in return for a weapons deal. And maybe he will continue to do favors for them if they will continue to give him money through his businesses. They set up an impossible standard. This is just like when the Supreme Court said about money in politics that not only is it not corruption, it's not even the appearance of corruption. What? So if a Wall Street firm gives money to a super PAC that's trying to get a politician elected, and then the super PAC spends unlimited amounts of money, because they spend unlimited amounts of money to get that politician elected, that wasn't a wink and a nod where the Wall Street firm wants favors from that politician when they get elected. That's not what that is. And if you think that, you're wrong because it's not even the appearance of corruption. There's no corruption, it's not even the appearance of corruption. Well, you're just lying to me because I just described it, and that is definitely, at the very least, the appearance of corruption, if not outright corruption. So they say, hey, who do you believe, me or your lying eyes? That's what this is. Now, thankfully, this court is much more rational than the Supreme Court was in dealing with the previous cases, whether it be Citizens United or McCutcheon or the ones before that on money in politics. But they're saying here, yes, Donald Trump, by not divesting from his businesses, he lied and said, oh, I'm not in control of the businesses anymore. I let my kids handle them. Okay, but you're still making the money off of it. No, it's in a blind trust or something. That's not what a blind trust is. You still have ownership of these companies and you're still profiting off of it, even if your shitty kids are running it. So that alone is a huge problem. So he does that. He still has all these businesses, has all this property. He can make money through them. Then he does favors for these countries, and he acts like there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what you mean. It's insanity that we're even having this discussion. Of course, if you're president, you should have to divest from those businesses because it makes it so easy for countries to buy favors from you, and then you're not acting in the best interest of the American people. You're acting in the best interest of the countries that end up giving you money. You end up doing their bidding. That's exactly what happened with Saudi Arabia. That's exactly what happened with Israel with the Jerusalem move. Jared Kushner taking $30 million from Israeli banks. And the list goes on and on. You know, Turkey, same thing, buying Flynn to try to get Washington to not arm the Kurds to fight ISIS because they hate the Kurds. It's a grab bag of money laundering and corruption and all this shit. And finally, we at least have one court, or this is actually the second court in a row, that says, yeah, this case is legit and you can't do that, Trump. But we'll see what happens. My guess is, even if this goes all the way to the Supreme Court, they're probably going to go, oh, no, it's fine. A president can own as many businesses as he wants. Foreign governments can give him as much money as he wants to those businesses. And that's not corruption. That doesn't violate the Emoluments Clause. Sheer insanity is what that is. We all know what it is. We all see the effects of this. I mean, it's almost stupid beyond comment, even after rebut that point. Really? A president can own businesses all around the world. Foreign governments can give him a tremendous amount of money at those businesses. He does favors for them, but it's all good. There's no foul play here. If you believe that, you're either stupid, ignorant, or insanely naive.